What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, guys. It is the 23rd of June. Here we are at about $101.4 thousand, just below there. 11 hours, 20 minutes left in the day. Had a bit of a wicked day yesterday, coming down, wicking back up here. A little bit of volatility today, nothing too crazy. Let's look at the shorter term time frames, and then we will scope back out to the daily here. I actually want to look at the 15-minute time frame. And for this, the MACD, I don't know if these are going to be reliable, the MACD and the stochastics, but in all fairness, they both do look good on the 15-minute time frame. But again, don't expect that to mean much. Here you had bullish divergence on the MACD right before a dump. You had bullish divergence on the stochastics right before a dump, right? The RSI was a little bit more indicative that you're probably going to find resistance and go down. So using the RSI here, you are at an area to find support. We will see, I could say that, relatively speaking. Looking at the low to high. Nope, that's not it. Let's do low to high here. Come on. Right at the 236. Bitcoin has been finding support at the 236 a lot since April. Yeah, since April. So it might continue to go up from here. Very, very possible. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame here. Looking at it here, if we're looking at the 1 hour time frame, it does seem as though we are at the top of this kind of downward sloping trend, right? Lower lows, lower highs, the whole shebang. And maybe if I tighten this up a little bit, lower highs, if I get that there, maybe we've even broken out and we're back testing. That looks pretty straight. That looks about right to me. I mean, that doesn't actually look like a bad endeavor there. Let's just see. Stochastics are pointed down right now. It's more likely that they would go to the oversold zone than they would to bounce here, but we have bounced, sometimes in between the oversold and the 50 here. The MACD looks like it's finding resistance at the 0 line. And the 1 hour RSI is the only thing that actually looks good. And again, I would weigh more on the RSI than these other two indicators, but still, those other two indicators, I guess, don't look the best. You are in an area where I would expect you find resistance. I don't know where I should draw this fib. Like, is it appropriate to draw from that low to high, or that high to low? Why do I do that? I always do it backwards. I always say low to high if it's high to low, or high to low if it's a low to high. I don't know why I do that. Let me see, low to high here, and not that high, the actual high, not the fake out high. Fake out high comes afterwards, right? Like, this is the actual high. The actual high is the first high of the move there, in my opinion. I mean, that's like a fake. That's how I draw my fibs, if anybody's wondering. Golden ratio, 1272 up here. Maybe you push a little bit higher to about 103K, 104K at the most, maybe. What did this one say again? Yeah, I could see it 103 to 104. Okay, so let's run with that idea. Let's look at the 1 hour. I mean, bouncing off the 50 is a good look. You do have higher highs in the RSI while having lower highs in the price. That's a bad look, hidden bearish divergence. But 17 minutes left in this 1 hour candle. It looks like you could close it green. You're only up 0.09%. It wouldn't take a lot. I mean, 17 minutes left. You could definitely move down. I almost wish I was making this video in 17 minutes from now. I like the RSI, but I want to say you're going to move down. Just looking at the price, I want to say you're moving down. Because as you're moving up, you're losing volume. Is this the right thing? Let's go on Coinbase, something with more volume. Right? The index isn't always reliable. Yeah, you're moving up without volume. You're not really moving down with volume either, though, to be completely fair. You could move up higher, and if you do, maybe you go to 103 to 104K, just above 103, just below 104. And then we'll go from there. If you go up here, you do set yourself up to reject a little bit, maybe find some support at prior resistance here, and then continue to build. We'll see. I would rather wait and see in this kind of time frame, just because if we do move down, I think that would be better. And then if we do move up, we'll probably come back down to find support somewhere just above where we are now. So I might just wait and see. I'm sticking with the downside. I think that we will come back down. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming right now. 4 hour time frame. Building bearish momentum. You've got a green tick right here on the 4 hour RSI. We got 3 hours left though. Yeah, I mean, if it can persist, then yes, then we have a chance here. Because again, crossing this, closing it green, that would likely promote multiple 4-hour time frames of building bullish momentum. So then we might grow into the end of the day here, which would probably take us to about 103 to 104K. Stochastics look like they would want to go up, but you are crossed down right now technically. And again, it's not as reliable in the 4-hour time frame. You don't really seem to find resistance here, so I mean, I guess that's a positive thing to the bullish effect. The RSI though, where the RSI is, and this is the one that I weigh most heavy on, this one actually looks more bearish on the 4-hour. It's kind of funny. The stochastics and the MACD look bullish on the 1-hour, but they're bearish, or the stochastics. Sorry, they're bearish on the 1-hour, but then they're bullish on the 4-hour. But the RSI, it's the reverse. It's bullish on the 1-hour, but bearish on the 4-hour. You've got lower highs coming in here, right? You're right at the area you'd expect to find resistance. But again, if we get to 103 to 104K, you guys, that could very much validate this low that we had just below 100K here. That could validate that as a low. It is possible. We don't have to go lower. I'm sticking with the lower side though for now. You know, let's just say if we do move up to 103 to 104K, it's very possible that we have found our low across the board, you guys, and that we're ready to move up. Maybe not ready to move up, but you know, configure ourselves to move up. If we go up to like 103, 104K, maybe we come back down, we find support at prior support, or even like a double bottom, a slightly higher low, something like that, and then we continue to run, right? We'll probably really get running as the week progresses. The way I have it drawn here, that's all the way Friday, July 4th. I don't think it'll take that long. We'll see. We'll see. Let's go on the daily time frame. Bullish divergence on the stochastics. Right at an area that you'd expect to find support on the MACD. Same thing with the RSI. Bullish on all these, man. It's just back and forth. A little bit of confliction in all of them. But the higher up the time frame, the more significant. And this one's the most significant by far that we've looked at. And this one does look bullish. So let's stick with that, right? We remain bearish for now. Okay? 101.5K. We're on the precipice of being bullish, though. You crossed down yesterday. You had a closing day that was here to the downside with added volume, but a big wick, pretty big wick there. You're closing out of this range. You're back testing that area now. Let's see if by the end of the day, let's wait for the day to close. I'll make another video once the day is closed, probably a couple hours after the day closes. And if we're above here, if we're closing above here, if we're up at if we interact with that 103, 104K area, you guys, it's time to start talking about this being the low. Until then, I remain suspicious that we could go down to 95, 96K, maybe even a little bit lower than that. From a high to a low, it's very common. I should even say it's very uncommon to get this far below the 236 and to not hit the 382, right? And that white line where you closed above, by the way, that's like right there at the 236 as well. Maybe up the ante a little bit, say get above 101.7K if you want to validate this as a low. Potentially validated as a low. 95.8K still remains a target as long as we're below here, as long as we're closing below here. So I think by the end of the day we'll know a little bit better. There's just so much confliction in the shorter term time frames, but the daily's definitely ready, man. It's definitely ready to turn around. So I don't care, man. Whether this is the low, whether we go a little bit lower, we're in that area right now, right? Tomato as far as I care. I do expect that we're gonna have an end of month rally. I was looking for today to be the low, but I mean, at this point, 11 hours left in the day, we'll see. You know, if it's not today, then maybe tomorrow. Or that's the low in itself, and we're moving up, you guys. So time will tell. I want to wait to see how this day closes, and very possible that we'll flip bullish within the next 12 hours or so. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. All right, take care. Bye-bye.